Here's more wrestling news for May 18th, 2021. And your headlines for this afternoon include: real reason why Kofi Kingston defeated Bobby Lashley on Raw, WWE's original plan for WrestleMania Backlash main event, WWE superstars call up Nixed after being deemed not television ready, why WWE switched around pay-per-view schedule, major news concerning WWE in Saudi Arabia, Charlotte Flair opens up about storyline with Ric Flair and Lacey Evans. I wouldn't want to replicate any Bray Wyatt stories. WWE wrestler opens up on their storyline. Major update on Jon Moxley's Memoir. A tearful AEW star considers his retirement, and more. We're starting this video with WrestleMania Backlash, which saw Universal Champion Roman Reigns defeat Cesaro in the main event. This was the latest main event victory for the head of the table, but that wasn't always going to be the case. According to reports, that main event was never originally planned to be the main event, and in the initial card, it was the WWE Championship Triple Threat that would close out the show before plans changed. Roman Reigns closed out WrestleMania Backlash instead, as did Seth Rollins, who came out to beat down Cesaro. And whilst this is the way WWE decided to go for the pay-per-view, that was not how it originally looked on paper. WWE changed their plans for WrestleMania Backlash, and they didn't stop changing plans the next night on Raw. As Wrestling Observer Newsletter reports, the script for last night's Raw was torn up several times during the day and was being rewritten all the way into the late afternoon. That explains why WWE promoted very little for Raw before the show aired, as superstars had little to no idea what they'd be doing mere hours before the 3-hour show made it to air. Over to Raw, and Jinder Mahal recently returned to the Red brand after a lengthy absence and is rumored to receive a huge push in the coming months. That push, which will reportedly see Mahal face his 3MB bandmate Drew McIntyre, could have happened already, according to a report from Fightful. Their report notes that Mahal has been ready for TV for months, and the company wanted him to return, but ultimately held off because of Indus Sher. It's been reported that WWE felt that Saurav of Indus Sher was deemed not television ready, and that was why the NXT team, formerly managed by Malcolm Bivens, broke up. Mahal will likely continue on WWE's main roster with Shanky and Rinku by his side, as the two big men will certainly help out the former WWE champion, but time will tell if that extra help will bring Jinder Mahal back to his former spot as WWE champion. Speaking of the Red brand, Kofi Kingston defeated WWE champion Bobby Lashley this week in non-title action, in what could be a sign of things to come for the New Day. Could it be Kingston who challenges the WWE champion at Hell in a Cell? We're sure that's what Kingston's hoping to do after this victory, and traditionally, pinning a champion is always an instant setup for a title shot, despite WWE making it clear that Lashley's feud with Drew McIntyre will continue. Perhaps the three will meet inside Hell in a Cell in a triple threat match for the WWE title, though we're not sure if fans are game for yet another triple threat match, as they've been used a lot in the last few months. On the other hand, rumors are also floating around that at Hell in a Cell, it'll be McIntyre versus Kingston in a number 1 contenders match, with the winner facing Lashley for the title at the July 18th event, rumored to be Money in the Bank. If so, we imagine McIntyre to defeat Kingston at Hell in a Cell, and with rumors of live fans at Money in the Bank and WWE wanting to give Drew the title victory in front of fans that he didn't get at WrestleMania 36, it's possible that he could topple Lashley in July. Pay-per-view news next, as Hell in a Cell has been moved from October to June, which follows reports that Vince McMahon wanted to shake up the pay-per-view schedule. Following the shock announcement of Hell in a Cell next month, a report said that Money in the Bank will happen in July with live fans, and there's a reason for these changes. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer explained that Money in the Bank is one of WWE's top shows of the year, perhaps the 5th biggest after WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series, and that WWE wanted to have this big show with live fans. Meltzer explained that having Money in the Bank in July is better than having to move SummerSlam to July, though this doesn't explain why Hell in a Cell was the show that was moved to June. We'll have to see what show fills in the October spot that is now vacant, but WWE's plan to shake up their schedule is certainly happening right now. Now, it's been over a year since WWE last hosted an event in Saudi Arabia thanks to the ongoing global situation, but that's all about to change very soon. In February, WWE's corporate jet made their first flight in a while to the Middle Eastern nation, and fans can expect WWE to be back by the end of 2021. That's according to Dave Meltzer, who discussed how Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are set to make $75 million each by fighting in Saudi Arabia on August 14th, and added, "The big thing with Joshua and Fury is that their date is August 14th and it's in Saudi Arabia. So if Saudi Arabia is willing to bring them in, then that means they're going to bring WWE in before the end of the year." WWE signed a decade-long deal with Saudi Arabia in 2018, but that's been suspended for the past year, but it wouldn't be a huge surprise to see WWE in Jeddah once more by the end of 2021. Earlier this year, Ric Flair returned to Raw to have a storyline romance with Lacey Evans, an angle the Nature Boy recently said he found uncomfortable. Rick has said that he barely knows Lacey and didn't enjoy the angle, which ended because of her real-life pregnancy, and he isn't the only Flair to not be a fan. Speaking to the Hindustan Times, Charlotte Flair said she didn't enjoy feuding with her father and Evans, saying, "I had an extensive amount of time off for the first time ever in my career. I was eager and excited to come back and start fresh. I wanted these changes. When my dad got brought into the picture, I was like, man, it's 2021 and I don't want to share the screen with my dad. I'm Charlotte Flair now. I'm no longer Ric Flair's daughter. That's Charlotte's dad." Flair explained that since her debut, she's tried to re-establish herself as her own superstar, not her father's daughter. And though we don't know when Rick or Evans will be back, we doubt this angle will continue when they return. Back to the present, and though Bayley and the new Alexa Bliss haven't crossed paths yet, that's something the self-proclaimed role model would like to do. Speaking to the New York Post, the former women's champion was asked about Bliss and had some specific ideas for what their feud would, or rather wouldn't, include. "I just wouldn't want to replicate any Bray Wyatt stories, so if I were to be in a story with her or go into something with her, I would stress myself out trying to make it different in some way." Bayley praised Bliss's new character, calling it a complete 180 to the sparkly babyface who joined NXT all those years ago. And whilst the pair are on different brands right now, a feud between Bayley and Bliss may happen sooner than you'd think. AEW news next, and after SCU's loss last week, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian can no longer team together. This forced breakup has had a major effect on the 51-year-old Daniels, who on the latest episode of Being the Elite contemplated retiring from full-time competition. Daniels, who has been wrestling for over 30 years, said that he doesn't know what's ahead of him, before holding his head in his hands and crying about what happened. In the past, Daniels has acknowledged that his spot on the card is that he's a veteran performer who might be nearing retirement, but this message was the clearest sign that Daniels is considering hanging up his boots for good. We've got sad news to report as former NWA Tag Team Champion Don Kernodle has died, aged 71. Kernodle teamed with Sergeant Slaughter at the Final Conflict show in 1983, which many consider as a show that paved the way for Starrcade, and on that night, Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood defeated Kernodle and Slaughter to win the gold. In a statement, the NWA offered their condolences to Kernodle's family and friends and highlighted his career as a multi-time tag team champion. A member of the George Tragos Luthez Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, Kernodle also held gold with Bob Orton Jr. and the promotion's six-man tag titles with Nikita and Ivan Koloff, and we'd like to send our own condolences to his family at this sad time. And we're ending today with more AEW news, as Jon Moxley will be releasing his memoirs this November, appropriately titled Mox. In a statement from Permuted Press, it was confirmed that this book will be out on November 2nd and will follow Moxley's journey in wrestling, from cutting his teeth in the independent scene to navigating his way through WWE, all the way to his present being one of AEW's top stars. Moxley has had an incredible career since he joined the wrestling world in 2004, and we're sure that this tell-all book will be a great read when it hits bookshelves later this year. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.